Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm telling you guys a little story time on how I failed my driver's license and how I finally got it. So let me just get right into it. I failed my first one because every time I think about this situation, I get angrier and angrier because I really think it was the instructor's fault, not my fault. So basically, I got out of school at like 11:20. I made the appointment that day for 11:40. Now, when I arrived, it was like 105 degrees where I live. So at the DMV, it was like really hot. So we stayed in line for an hour and a half. And obviously, we weren't going to have the car on for an hour and a half. Because first of all, who's wasting that much gas? And second of all, carbon, dioxide poisoning. So we rolled down the windows and waited an hour and a half. There was 3 cars in front of us. And it literally took that long. So when it was my turn, they basically do they check over the headlights and make sure everything's working, your car is functional. You get out of the parking lot, you're supposed to stop behind the sidewalk, and then you continue, and then you could go. So as you guys can see, this is the little DMV that we have here in Lancaster. Basically, this is where you get out of the driving test section. You get into this street, which is L6, and then you go into there's a stop sign right there on L6. Then you turn to the right onto 7th Street, and then you continue straight. And this is what I'm talking about, that it's a business street. As you guys can see, it's a very short street. I was going 35, and then you turn to the left again, and this street is longer, so you have to go at 55, and then you turn to the right, again, and then you continue. And right there where it says Panda Express, that's where the little shopping mall food place is. And then you turn to the right, and then I turn to the right back, and then I continue straight back into the DMV, and that's where he told me I failed. So, you know how when they say you either fail your 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes? I was like, oh, I failed. Maybe, I wasn't supposed to turn, or I in the incorrect lane, but whatever. So I got to the little, to the parking lot, and I was entering. There was a pedestrian crossing the street, and he didn't even he did not even finish walking, through the sidewalk when the instructor was like, go ahead. And I was like, there's a guy, walking on the sidewalk, but okay. So I went, but by that time, the pedestrian was not on the sidewalk. So I basically went all the way straight, turned to the right, to the end test area. He was like, oh, you failed because on that street, which is the one where I was telling you guys about the business street, he literally said that I should go 55 miles an hour, not 32. Which, like I said, I was going like between 30 to 35 because it was a business street. Which I was like, are you serious? So then he basically like went over like why I didn't pass and this and that. And he wrote on my permit there's an $8 recharge fee, which I was like, now I have to pay again. Like I already paid for the permit, and now I have to pay for the retake test. Which at that point I was just bummed. And I'm not gonna lie, I was bummed for like a week and a half. So I did not mention this in the video, but I did the test on July 12th, and I had to wait until August 5th to get my to take the retest, which I passed. And I think it's just crazy that you have to wait a month to get a appointment just to pass or fail your driver's exam. I got to the DMV, literally paid the $8, and I got in line, and in less than 20 minutes the instructor came out, and he was like, okay, like, you're ready. And he was such a nice instructor. He was those types of people to be like, oh, remember to check your mirrors, oh, remember to do this, like, you can gradually speed up, like, it's okay, if you make a mistake, it's okay, like, I won't write you down. He was so comfortable, and I was so nervous. Why? I don't know, but he like made me feel like weird, because it was too nice. Anyway, so basically we didn't even get to the road where he was like doing the checkup on the car. He was like, "Does this car have air conditioning?" And I was like, yeah. He grabs the little wheel to adjust it, and he pulls it to max, puts the air conditioning on full blast, and then he's like, he rolls up his little window, and he was like, "Can you roll up all the windows?" He was like, "Okay, great, now we can start." And he literally adjusted his seat to like the farthest it can go, and he was just like, "Okay, you can go," which I thought was really funny and like stupid at the same time. But basically, I got out of the parking lot. I did those tests, and you can miss up to 15 mistakes. And I think where I struggled was probably entering the backing up portion, because there was two cars on this side, and my mom drives a Honda CRV, so like I don't really like, I took it in the city, and I live like in a little, it's considered a city, but it's a very small city, so I'm not like used to like parking in between two cars. So I was like, so basically he basically just told me to like go a little bit more in, and so I did, and then I backed up, and then everything was fine. And I, out of 15 mistakes, I got 8 mistakes, which 4 of them were traffic check through intersections, which I was like, okay, whatever. After the test was done, we went back to the DMV, and he was like, okay, like, congratulations, you passed. So he gave me the paper, and I went inside and I passed. So yeah, that's how I got my license. So here are some tips and tricks. Honestly, if you guys are gonna barely pass your permit, read the book, because they actually test you on the book and not like the practice test, because they want you to know everything that's in here, mainly about like science and what ifs and scenarios. So make sure you guys read it. So obviously I live in California, and this is the new one, and this is the one that I used. So pick whichever you guys want. Now, another thing I will say is, obviously I would drive with my permit to school and back, and sometimes to like the store. So just make sure you guys just practice. Go to a DMV where there's less people. Like I said, I live an hour away from LA. I live near a city called Lancaster. So you guys should like come over here, make your appointment over here. They basically took me around Costco, around that area, and it was 15 minutes long. 4th tip is, take some water, take some snacks, because like I said, the first time I literally waited an hour and a half, and there's 3 cars. Guys, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. And one thing that I forgot to mention was that day when I take the test, I was talking to this girl in my school, and I was like, oh, like today I'm super nervous because I'm taking my DMV test. She was like, oh, you got this, and if you fail the first time, and then she started telling me that her boyfriend failed it 5 times, and I was like, I hope that's not me. So just remember to stay calm, and you got this.